The sages say, for what that's maybe worth to you, the sages say that all sin is birthed in pride. All division is birthed in pride. All malice is birthed in pride. All fear is birthed in pride. Pride says, I am entitled to my peace. I'm entitled to my way. I'm entitled to my thoughts. I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm entitled to all that. Pride, that is what pride, as the element of pride, that I am entitled to all these things, and you're messing with me. You're messing with my bailiwick. You're messing with my opinion. You're messing with my peace. You're messing with my sense of being right and having control of my environment. And therefore, you need to be driven out or punished or spoken ill about or accused. We need to address you. That is what pride does. What is humility? Humility is to say, I may not like what you're doing. I may despise what you're saying, how you behave, how you act. But I trust my God to be able to fix this. And I trust my God to take me and carry me to help me to transcend and come above this and actually bring the actual opposite result of what you're trying to seek into every situation you're trying to bring about. This is humility. This is trust in the Holy One. Humility and trust are basically the same, two sides of the same coin. If you trust God, you will be humble. If you do not trust God, you will develop pride. And it will be either positive pride or negative pride. Negative pride is called shame or guilt. A sense of, I have to do this because if I don't do this, it won't get done. Or I should have done that because it didn't get done. It's my fault because that happened, that bad thing happened because I didn't do. That's the ultimate of the negative side of pride. You don't have that power. You don't have that importance. You don't have that ability. The Holy One, your God, who you trust in horses and chariots and your own willingness to do things, your own goodness, your own talents, your own knowledge, or do you trust the Holy One? Well, that's the challenge of pride versus negativity. Now, I'm going to go a little further with this. Pride versus humility. Pride and humility, it's like you have a bathtub and you have two faucets running at the same time, filling up the bathtub. There's a level at which you have pride and you have humility. Humility is the hot water, and your pride is the cold water. So both of those fountain faucets are going into your bath water. And so when you get in that bath water, what you're going to find is you got a mixture of pride and humility. And how comfortable you are in a bathtub depends on what your mixture of hot and cold water is, right? If you have a lot of hot water in your bathtub, you're not going to stay in that bathtub very long. Matter of fact, you put your toe in it, you're going to pull right back out. And if its mixture is primarily cold water, you're not going to feel very comfortable in there, and you're going to start shivering and shuddering, and you want to get out as well for that process. Now, here's the issue of you need to make sure you have a high level of humility to go with the natural fact there's going to be some pride because you're a human being. Now, this is the issue of that. Now, the other issue is, now let's substitute another word for pride and another word for humility. Same concept, same idea. What are the new words? Instead of pride, you put ingratitude. Instead of humility, you put thankfulness. You got a bathtub. Your life is a bathtub. Your whole world is a bathtub. You're going to have two things in there. One was pride, one was humility. Now let's change the focus a little bit. Now you're going to have ingratitude and you're going to have thankfulness. Which one of those do you want to be the bigger, the more prevalent in your bathtub? Which one will come out of you? This is that challenge. Because here's the deal. You can't be thankful in any level of quality and quantity at all if you are ungrateful. And what is the definition of complaint? Being ungrateful. Being unthankful. Every time you complain, you say, I'm entitled and this is not giving me. Back to the pride issue and the humility issue. I'm entitled to something better and this is not good enough. That's complaint. That is That whenever we complain, what we have done is we have said, I would rather be upset and discontent than I would be to be grateful and thankful in all things. Now, when we understand this is going to be our challenge in the wilderness, the issue is elders should always be thankful. If we're going to be patriarchs and matriarchs, if we're going to be leaders in our community, then we must, of all things, watch what comes out of our mouth. And measure and consider what is happening in our mouth. Are we thankful? Or are we, I will give thanks at all times. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise will continue to be in my mouth. Do you notice the words always and continually? Then why is this other stuff coming out of your mouth? Why is this coming out of our mouth? What are we thinking that we're going to complain about something? Whether it be the texture of the manna that we're eating, or the nature of the world we live in, and the temperature and the weather that we're facing, or the food that we got to eat in our table, or the money we make at our work. What is it that we're complaining about? Because that tells you the level at which we're unthankful for what the Holy One has given us, and we are called to be people of thanksgiving. So this is our challenge. Question 2. What happens when elders go rogue? What happens when somebody who has a place of influence, has the ability to impact and be listened to by other people, and I call it go rogue? What happens when they go dark, Darth Vader, and they go to the dark side? For all you Star Wars fans, what happens when you go to the dark side? Because you've been on the good side, right? If you know the story of Star Wars, and I don't want to get into it. You were on the good side, but now you're on the bad side. You're on the dark side. You're in the realm of the dark nights. And you start. What happens when elders, male, female, start spewing and doing self-will, negativity? What happens when that happens? What happens in a family when that happens? When the elders cease to give thanks. When the elders cease to speak the praises and the words and the oracles of God. What happens when all you hear is complaint coming from them? What happens when all you hear is conspiracies and accusations and theories? What happens when everything is negative that comes out of their mouth? What does it do to the children? If you have a spouse, what does it do to your spouse? Think about it. I think, try to be gentle here. I think sometimes we act as if that our spouses and our children, or our parents, if we're children, have this sign across our forehead that says, here I am, go ahead and rant. I will listen to your rant. I will listen to your complaints. I'm a captive audience. Go ahead and dump on me. Go ahead and spew all your stuff on me. Spew all your anger on me. Spew all your venom on me. Spew all your negativity on me. I think we act like sometimes there was a label on their foreheads that it is our privilege to walk into our home or our workplace or wherever people may be and spew our negativity on them. What happens when an elder does that? What impact does that have? When a patriarch or a matriarch does that? When a leader of a generation does that? When someone who says they're following the Holy One, who's been in the presence of the Holy One, someone who represents himself as being an upright citizen of the kingdom of heaven, who knows the Holy One, knows the Yeshua, knows the Messiah, and follows his ways. Whenever you do that, whenever we do that, what do you think the impact is? Do you think we just feel better? We get it off our chest and we feel better? No. What happened is we just set off a bomb. A shrapnel bomb. A bomb full of nuts and bolts. An IED that explodes and causes as much damage and harm as possible, and we walk away. And we leave the people who were in our midst to deal with the fragmentation and the shrapnel and the pain and the confusion of our leader did this to us. Our leader dumped this on us and left this negativity in this realm. So what happens when elders go rogue? Society begins to collapse. What happens when elders go rogue? A family begins to disintegrate. And no one wants to be together anymore. And people want to go do their own thing. and people want to rebel, and they want to talk about how controlling the leadership is. Same thing in a community of faith. Same thing in a city, in a country, in a nation. Same thing in any organization or workplace. People lose cohesiveness because the elders were not faithful to hold on to the words of the Holy One, gratitude, humility, and walk in those processes. So how do we recognize the early signs? We need to recognize it in ourselves, and we need to recognize it in other people when they begin to talk. It's not because we're going to judge them for this. We learn what to listen to and what not to listen to. When people are complaining, quit listening to them. Quit putting any value to anything they say. This is like, I don't mean to cast aspersions, but we have recently in our history had this thing called a Me Too movement. I'm not saying people didn't suffer, and horribly so. What I am saying is whenever we put credibility in the negativity, we will eventually cause division and separation and judgment and criticism to come into our world. And we will not heal. There will be no healing. You can't get healing by virtue of criticism and accusation and negativity and murmuring and complaining. So how do we recognize the early signs? And how do we resist the negative downward draw? These are the questions of the wilderness. These are the questions of the diaspora. We have to live in these worlds. We have to live with the Asaf Suf and all their complaints and all their criticisms. We have to live with elders who go rogue, who have gone rogue, who have been off the reservation for decades. And they're our leaders. At least they hold those positions or those titles, but they're not leading. We have to find a way to get back with the Holy One, reconnect with the Holy One, and begin to build elders within ourselves, within our own communities, within our own families. Be elders ourselves and provide this leadership to the world. All right. I want to read a little bit before we finish. Let's go to Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 11. Well, let's go to chapter 10. Start with chapter 10, and we'll stand. For those of you who want to read along, we'll go ahead and begin with chapter 10 and verse 11. Before we do that, we'll say our blessing of the house. May a blessing always be in our mouths, especially when we approach the Torah and the wisdom of the Torah. So if you know it, you can join in. Open our eyes, O Holy One, our God, that we may see wondrous things in your Torah. For we are but strangers in the earth. Do not hide your commandments from us. Our souls cry out for your judgments at all times. How can a young man keep his way pure? By living according to your Torah. For your Torah is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our paths. Amen. Beginning with verse 11. This will be a somewhat long reading, so take you a deep breath. And it came to pass, and it came to pass on the 20th day of the second new moon, in the second year, after the Exodus that is, that the cloud was taken up from above the dwelling place of the witness. And the children of Israel departed, setting out from the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud rested upon it in the wilderness of Paran. And thus they departed the first time, according to the mouth of the Holy One, by the hand of Moshe. According to the mouth of the Holy One, by the hand of Moshe. And the banner of the camp of the children of Yehuda departed first, according to their divisions. And over their army was Nachshon, the son of Amminadab. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Yisachar was Netaniel, son of Suar. And over the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliah, the son of Helon. And the dwelling place was taken down, the tent, and the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari departed, bearing the tent. And the banner of the camp of Reuven departed, according to their divisions. And over their army was Elitzur, son of Shedeur. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Shimon was Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Gad was Eliasaph, the son of Deuel. And the Kahati departed, the Kohathites, bearing the holy objects, while the dwelling place, the tent, was set up before they came. And the banner of the camp of the children of Ephraim departed, according to their divisions. And over their army was Elishama, the son of Ammihud. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamliel, son of Pedahshur. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan, the son of Gidoni. And then the banner of the camp of the children of Dan, which formed the rear guard of all the camps, departed, according to their divisions. And over their army was Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Okran. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Naphtali was Ahira, the son of Enan. And such was the order of setting out of the children of Israel according to their divisions when they departed. And Moshe said to Hobab, the son of Reuel, the Midianite, Moshe's father-in-law, we are setting out for the place which the Holy One said, I give it to you. Come with us, and we will do good to you, for the Holy One has spoken good concerning Israel. And he, being Hobab, replied to him, I'm not going. I'm going to my own land, to my own relatives. And then Moshe said, please do not leave us, because you know how we are to camp in the wilderness, and you can be our eyes. And it'll be that when you go with us, that it will be that whatever good the Holy One does to us, the same will be done to you. But they sent out from the mountain of the Holy One on a journey of 3 days. And the ark of the covenant of the Holy One went before them for a 3 days' journey to seek out a resting place for them. And the cloud of the Holy One was above them by day, and when they went out from the camp. And it came to be that whenever the ark set out, that Moshe said, rise up, O Holy One, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee before you. And then when it rested, he said, return, O Holy One, to the countless thousands, myriads of Israel. And it came to pass that when the people were complaining, it was Ra in the ears of the Holy One. And the Holy One shemad it, heard it, and his displeasure burned, and the fire of the Holy One burned among them and consumed those in the outskirts of the camp. And the people cried out to Moshe, and Moshe prayed to Jehovah, to the Holy One, and the fire died down. And then he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Holy One had burned among them. And then among the mixed multitude, the Asaph Suf, who were in their midst, a great lust was created. So the children of Israel also wept again, and they said, who is giving us meat to eat? Remember the fish we ate without cost in Mitzrayim, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our being is all dried up. There is nothing to look at but this manna. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and its appearance like the appearance of bdellium. And the people went out and gathered it, and they ground it on millstones or beat it in the mortars, and they cooked it into a pot, and they made cakes out of it, and its taste was like the taste of cakes baked with oil. And when the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna fell on it. And Moshe heard the people weeping throughout their clans, each man at the door of his tent, weeping. And the displeasure of the Holy One burned exceedingly. And in the eyes of Moshe it was Ra, And so Moshe said to the Holy One, why have you done this wrong to your servant? Why have I not found favor in your eyes to put the burden of all these people on me? Was it me who conceived all these people? Was it me who brought them forth? That you should say to me, carry them in your bosom as the foster father carries a nursing child to the land that you swore to their fathers? Where am I going to get meat to give all these people? For they weep before me and saying, give us meat to eat. I am unable to bear all these people alone, because the burden is too heavy for me. And if you're going to treat me this way, kill me. Please, kill me. If I have found any favor in your sight, kill me. And let me not see my own wrath. And the Holy One said to Moshe, gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of the meeting, and let them stand there with you. And I will come down and speak with you there. And I will take some of the Spirit, the Ruach that is on you, and I will put it on them. And they will bear the burden of the people with you, so that you do not bear it by yourselves. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, Moshe is our ultimate elder, I suppose, because though he's not the oldest in age, Moshe is the one who has the closest relationship with the Holy One. As a matter of fact, the Holy One's going to talk later about Moshe, and he's going to say, he's not like those who dream dreams or have visions. I speak to a prophet sometimes in a dream or a vision. It's like a one-time thing, or it's every once in a while, an occasional intermittent thing. And they get a picture of something, they form a picture in their mind, or they get a word spoken and they can speak that out, but it's not something that's continuous. But as for Moshe, I give him mouth to mouth. This is literally, if you want to read this in Hebrew, I give him mouth to mouth, P to P. P-L-P, the mouth, the P. I give him mouth to mouth. In other words, it's like if you ever watched a mother bird carry food back to its nest and the young are there with the mouth wide open. And this is day by day, day after day, all through the youth of the children, of the babies, as the kids are growing. And what happens is the mother will come, and whatever she's got in her mouth, I'm not going to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to think about it. But whatever the mother's got in her mouth, and she has chewed up and swallowed and brought back forth so they can digest it. It sounds weird to you, I know. Well, what this scroll will taste bitter. But anyway, so she comes and she puts that food in right directly into the mouth of her babies. So that's what I do with Moses. I go in, it's like we're going mouth to mouth. It's like CPR. I give him CPR with mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I put my mouth in his, and I give him the words. I put my words in his mouth. Just like the mother bird puts worms, regurgitated worms, into the children's mouth. I give him words that he can speak, that he can digest, that he gives forth. And this is the normal course of activity with Moshe. Now, this is Moshe. Wow, that's a pretty high recommendation. The Holy One says, I put my words in his mouth like the mother bird puts food in the baby's mouth. And he can digest it because I make sure he can digest it before I give it to him. I know exactly what to give him at the right time, at the right stage of where he is to give to him. And so here is Moshe. Wow, don't mess with him. Don't say things about him. Don't criticize. Don't complain about him, because I've done this with him. And then we have this picture a little bit before, and Moshe is having his meltdown. This is the guy who gets the word. He gets the word of the Holy One put in his mouth like beak to beak. PLP in Hebrew. And we say, what happened? What on earth happened? Because if you're going to do this, just kill me. If it's going to be this bad, just kill me. Well, what has happened? The people have complained about the texture of the food. Well, back in Exodus 16, on the way to Sinai, we had a similar situation. The people were hungry. The people were thirsty. The people were complaining. And what did Moshe? Moshe didn't throw a hissy fit. He didn't cry out to kill me. He let the Holy One speak to him, put words in his mouth. And when he put words in his mouth, Moshe then began to say, okay, manna's going to fall from heaven. It's all going to be provided for. It's going to be taken care of. God has got this under control. He's going to do this. Watch and see what the Holy One will do. He's praising the Holy One and everything that's happening. That's what happened in Exodus 16. To the same situation, the same scenario. Wow, what a difference we got now. Just kill me. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. There's one difference. The difference is, in this stage, the Holy One has actually done this. He has actually provided the manna months ago. And it's provided every day, every morning. And what Moshe has found out this time is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the Holy One does. It doesn't matter what I do as a leader. It doesn't matter what we do. These Asaf, this B'nai Israel, who get the feed, the contagion of the negativity, and spread it to the Asaf Suf and the gatherings of people sitting around the corner talking about negative stuff, they're going to complain anyway. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't even matter what you do. These folks are going to complain. So Moshe does this. Now, in America, in our modern world, what we would expect Moshe to do would be, A, go on social media and tell how bad these people are and how negative his feelings are, how bad his emotions are, how upset he is about what's taking place, and how unfair it is that these people treated him this way. That would be step one of not being an elder, not being a responsible citizen of the kingdom, to go on social media and do it. Second thing would be just get a group of friends together, whether it be a Zoom telephone conversation or whether it be in person, or sit around a water cooler or around a coffee shop and have this conversation about how it isn't fair, this is happening, this, and that's being done that way. And no matter what God has done for us, no matter what Redeemer He has provided for us, no matter what blessings He has poured out upon us, no matter the fact that life itself is a precious gift, and the ability to think and speak is a precious gift of the Holy One, no matter what that is, that what we want to talk about. And so this is the frustration part of Moshe. It doesn't matter what you do, God. I could go out and I could proclaim, I could prophesy, I could do whatever. They won't ever change. They're going to keep complaining. Yes, they will. Now, our job is to be something else, to provide them an alternative, an option. And so the first thing that a modern person today would be go on social media. The second thing would be get a group of people together, try to gather people to sympathize with you, to agree with you, to feel bad toward those other people with you, to blame those other people, get a blame group going, and further divide the population to make you feel better that you got your way. That would be the natural way people do it on earth. Is that what Moshe did? No. Very interesting. Moshe felt some stuff. He was pretty angry. He's feeling anger. He's feeling helpless. He's feeling all sorts of frustration. But here's the difference between him and us. He didn't say a word to a soul on earth. He didn't spill the beans. He didn't dump the rant on his family members. He didn't dump it on his co-workers. He didn't dump it on the people on social media. What did he do? Where did he go with his issues that he was dealing with, his emotions he was struggling with? He went directly to the one who feeds him every day. He went directly to the Holy One, and he didn't hold back. He didn't hold back a bit. This is why I say this is a microcosm of the entire Old Testament, or the entire Bible for that matter, this portion, because this is psalmistry. What Moshe did is psalmistry. I think most of us have this weird idea that psalmistry is some sort of a gifting, a prophetic thing where we are all get up into some sort of ecstatic realm. Read the Psalms of David. It isn't like that at all. Psalms of David is, I'm busting it down here, and I'm getting busted. It's shoot in here amongst us because it's bad down here. And I'm ticked about it. It ain't right. And judge them, throw some fire at them, do something. Help me. Because this is bad down here. And they're evil down here, and they're doing evil stuff, and they're being evil to me, and it just ain't right. But he's having this conversation with God. He's not having this conversation with his friends. He's not having this conversation with social media. He's not having this conversation with his family members. He's having his conversation with the Holy One. David has his conversation with him. And when it comes out, he spills his beans. He goes through the process of learning how to communicate what he's feeling in his flesh to the Holy One. And invariably, the Holy One speaks back to him. You ever read the way the Psalms work? That's the way Psalms work. Everything changes in the course of the Psalm. By the end of the Psalm, almost always, or at least a series of Psalms, if he's got like a series of 6 or 7 Psalms in a row that are all tied in theme, by the time he gets to the end, he's saying basically what Yeshua said, nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. You arise, O Lord, let your enemies be scattered. You do the things that need to be done. I'm going to shut my mouth now, and I'm going to just release my energy and my negativity out of me in your presence, because you can deal with it. And then I want you to fill me again with your holiness. Fill me again with your shalom. Fill me again with your vision and your perspective on how to deal with redemption and restoration. Fill me with positive words. Open my mouth, O Lord, to fill it with your words and everything that goes with your words, your spirit, your breath, and whatever. That's how Moshe handled this part of the situation. Doesn't mean it's always going to be responded to very well by other people. That's not our job. Our job is to make sure we first communicate any negativity we feel about anything to the Holy One, and then wait until he begins to respond to us and fill us back with an idea, with a plan. And the Holy One had a plan. He said, I'm going to give you 70 elders. The Holy One's always got a plan. He's always got a strategy. Now, the strategy we may not like any more than we like the problem in the long run, because every day in life is a bit of a challenge. Every day has its own unique elements. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, Yeshua would put it. And so we have this issue, but he's going to have a plan. Get in with the plan, start moving in that process, and see if we can overcome this deal. Now, that's the goal of the eldership, the goal of us as we sit and become patriarchs and matriarchs in a new generation. I think it's no secret to you or anyone else that I have a vision that I believe has been birthed in my heart by the Holy One, that the people of the Holy One will arise in this hour, in this day. That we will not continue to be down here where we are fighting chicken battles in the chicken yard. That we will begin to rise up and actually have an influence and impact in society. But in order for us to do that, we need to learn how to deal with negativity down here among the Asaf Suf in our own hearts, and we need to have how to process it through the Holy One and receive his plan, his strategies, and his peace with it. And it will not be smooth sailing all the time. Almost never will it be smooth sailing. But it will be worth it, because this is the promise of the Holy One. Remember I read from Isaiah chapter 59? Before I rise and shine, for your light has come. I read the passage from Isaiah 59. And do you remember what it said? It said, as for me, said the Holy One, I will watch over my covenant with you, and I will put my words in your mouth. And I will put my spirit upon you. My spirit will rest upon you from henceforth to forevermore. Your seed and your children's children and their seed forever and ever. This is the plan. This is a strategy. We are learning humility. We are learning gratitude. We're learning not to let go or surrender those things for anybody's opinion, for anybody's negativity, not to take the contagion. We have a pandemic, and I'm not talking about COVID. We have a pandemic of negativity in this world. Now, we need a vaccination, all right. But that vaccination is not a shot in the arm. That vaccination is words in the mouth and a download of the Spirit upon our shoulders and upon our lives. Well, our time has expired. Thank you all for tuning in, joining with us on Parsha Lotka.